What makes this particular study quite spectacular is that we're looking at improvements over about 28 to 30-day period of time in conditioned athletes, a randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial in regard to Rhodiola rosea. And without too much reiteration, we're looking at about 1.2 grams of this particular Rhodiola rosea taken twice per day, morning and lunch, for a total of 2.4 grams throughout the day. So, without further ado, let's get right into the study as follows. The effect of short-term Rhodiola rosea supplementation on simulated game time, perceived fatigue, and performance in basketball players. And it is quite amazing. So let us begin. Here's our daily protocol. Just to give you a brief look, 1.2 grams twice per day, not taken at night, morning, and lunch. All right, and not a complicated powder as far as the standardization, which you and I will get into in a second. All right, here we are. There's our study protocol, our power rating and quality rating for our statisticians or data scientists out there. In the sourcing, there you are. The saccharose content per 100 grams, about a half a gram. And of course, a randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial, 28 days. And now, wait till you see the improvements that we had within these 28 days. All right, agility and speed. Again, keep in mind, these are conditioned athletes. So we're not talking about people starting a training program. We are talking about individuals who've been training for quite some time. And conditioned athletes recognize how difficult it is to achieve greater performance improvements, especially after years of training. But look at this. Agility and speed, simulated game time, the improvements. And now I have a glossary of what these terms mean at the end. Sprint performance. That is just, again, within about a 28 to 30-day period of time. We'll just say 30 days to round up. Endurance and stamina. The 5K run time. That's pretty amazing. Once again, conditioned athletes. The yo-yo distance test, as you could see there. We'll look at that in a second. When those not familiar, the glossary will be at the end. And also, too, as well, we look at this. Power and capacity. This impressed me a lot. The VO2 max. That is quite an improvement within a short duration of consumption of Rhodiola rosea. The counter movement jump, improvement as well. Recovery and fatigue. Look at the heart rate improvements and perceived fatigue as well. So let's get right into the actual meat of the study itself, the backstory first. Rhodiola rosea is a classic traditional herbal plant that grows in the rocky crevices and coastal cliffs of North America and the Asian and Arctic regions of Europe. And it's attracted attention for its effectiveness of anti-fatigue, performance-enhancing effects. Modern medical research has found that Rhodiola is a nutritional supplement with anti-hypoxia, anti-fatigue properties that can significantly improve athletes' physical and mental states. Skip ahead a little bit. In summary, although existing evidence supports Rhodiola rosea as a promising ergogenic and anti-fatigue supplement in endurance sports, research on its acute effects during simulated competition and its impact on perceived fatigue among basketball players remains limited. Therefore, this study, quoting, aimed to examine the effects of short-term Rhodiola supplementation on simulated game performance, perceived fatigue, and physical performance in basketball players, providing a theoretical basis for its potential in enhancing basketball performance. Of course, we go beyond just basketball, and delaying fatigue perception. All right, we're going to go to the conclusion, and then we'll cover some of the more detailed parameters afterwards. Short-term supplementation with Rhodiola can improve sprint performance, which you and I have already observed in the data, and perceived fatigue in basketball players during simulated games, enhance aerobic capacity, and delay fatigue. To reiterate, athletes may consider including this supplement in their daily regimen and taking an appropriate dosage during training to enhance performance. A little more into the detail of the study itself. All right, check this out. The cellular protection, which I left out, that should have been the first part. look at the antioxidant capacity, and also look at the decrease of superoxidase dismutase. That is pretty amazing overall, because we're only looking 28 days, 30 days, so on and so forth. All right, the takeaways. This is basically the synopsis. Again, always consult your medical professional. The dosages, how it's split, the timing, 30 minutes before breakfast and lunch, and not taking a dinner. Real world expectations, not a stimulant buzz like caffeine. That's why a lot of individuals tend to prefer Rhodiola, Rosea, as opposed to taking a caffeine supplement. Feel less winded after sprints, so on and so forth. Recovery, we got all that down. The outcome, basically better endurance, sharper movement, and speed. All right, as well too, the clinical and scientific profile for our healthcare researchers and data scientists. All right, once again, there's the power rating chart as there. Pause this for a second so you can read through the mechanisms that are postulated to its benefit of how it does what it does in regard to the outcome that you and I observed in the study, and also to our glossary of terms. For those not familiar with a lot of the terms that we covered, this way you can pause that and go back over the video and go, ooh, now I understand. All right, so there you have it. Rhodiola rosea, with about 1.2 grams twice per day in the study, taking 30 minutes prior to breakfast and lunch, but not taking a dinner. It had an incredible performance outcome without the caffeine or jittery-like effect. In particular, which impressed me the most, was the VO2 max overall. What an incredible herb, and gratitude for the researchers basically elucidating, or bringing this to our attention on how incredible this one herb or plant can be in preconditioned, is such a thing as preconditioned? Sorry, conditioned athletes that have already been training for a while, and to see those improvements. So it's pretty darn amazing. All right, gratitude to the researchers. I am humble you watch, and look forward to seeing what you and I both discover next week. Pretty amazing stuff every single week. This one is pretty darn amazing overall. Again, what an incredible ergogenic aid. Thank you, gratitude. Look forward to what you and I both discover next week. See you then. Bye.